Did you know that Stallone wrote the first draft of Rocky in 3.5 days? Or that Burt Young lost weight for the sequel because he hadn't planned on being in it? Or the fact that Dolph Lundgren sent Stallone to the hospital? Hello everyone and welcome to Top Things. Don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to the sensational video that follows. If you are here, it is clear that you want to see what the stars of Rocky 1, Rocky 2 and Rocky 3 look like. Let's go. Apollo Creed, or Carl Weathers, is the magnetic, canny and undefeated 33-year-old world heavyweight champion. In 1976, he battled Rocky, roughened up with serious eye harm and dying on the inside due to broken ribs. Apollo acquires a disputable split-choice triumph. In 1979, Apollo and Rocky organized a rematch. This statement of faith is wrecked by a left from Balboa, with Balboa tumbling down in fatigue. Ruff can get up by the tally of 9, yet Creed can't pull himself up, losing the match and the title by knockout. In Rocky 1982, Creed finds Rocky at Mickey's exercise center and they consent to have Apollo dominate as Balboa's chief. Doctrine urges Rocky not to disregard the downers that state he is excessively old, yet rather pull himself together. This statement of faith enables Rocky to rediscover the fire inside. Adrian Balboa, or Talia Shire. Yo Adrian, Talia Shire was designated for Best Actress for her depiction of Rocky's better half and possible spouse, Adrian Penino Balboa in Rocky. However, Shire originally got renowned for her part as Connie Corleone in The Godfather arrangement. Shire got selected for Best Supporting Actress for her exhibition in The Godfather Part 2. As of late, Shire has showed up in films like I Heart Huckabees and Kiss the Bride. Robert Balboa Jr. or Milo Ventimiglia. Robert Balboa Jr., Milo Ventimiglia, presumably best recognized as Jess Mariano on Gilmore Girls. Milo Ventimiglia played Rocky's child in the 6th portion of the Rocky arrangement, Rocky Balboa. Today, Ventimiglia stars as Ian Mitchell in the Crackle unique arrangement Chosen, just as Sean Bennigan on as of late dropped The Whispers. With the bits of gossip about Gilmore Girls' conceivable revival on Netflix, fans are cheerful that Ventimiglia will repeat his job as Jess. Tony Duke Evers or Tony Burton. Tony Duke Evers or Tony Burton consented to help prepare and oversee Apollo. At some point in the following years, Duke opened up the Delphi Boxing Academy, boxing rec center for fighters to prepare at. Apollo Creed prepared in this rec center for a long time while he was the heavyweight champion. Paulie's robot, sequel. Rough 4 highlights perhaps the most irregular snapshot of the arrangement when Rocky gives Paulie a robot for his birthday. Notwithstanding, the robot wasn't imagined just to convey lagers to Paulie. During the 1980s, Robert Durnick, the originator of international robotics, built up a robot to help kids which have chemical imbalances. Numerous individuals don't have the foggiest idea about this. However, Stallone's child, Sergio Stallone, is mentally unbalanced. We got a call from the Stallone family. Dornick reviewed in a meeting with Trivia Happy. They were exceptionally keen on how the robot could function with his child. One thing prompted another and Stallone totally got captivated with Sicko, that specific character. Because of the manner in which Sicko had the option to help Sergio, Stallone chose to include the robot in Rocky 4. Today, International Robotics keeps on creating robots that go about as correspondence helps for extraordinary necessities people. Marie Jody Letizia. Marie Jody Letizia was a more youthful sister of an associate Rocky. At that point a defiant adolescent at the time, Marie was remaining close to the shop when Rocky ran into her. He strolled her home, advising her not to smoke and giving her different tips to stop her going down some unacceptable way. Michael Mickey Goldmill, or Burgess Meredith. Michael Mickey Goldmill, Burgess Meredith, was an expert fighter and afterward the proprietor of Mighty Mick's boxing and head trainer of Rocky Balboa for the greater part of his vocation from 1976 until his demise in 1981. Goldmill depends on incredible boxing coach Cus D'Amato, Paulie Penino, or Burt Young. Paulie Penino, Burt Young, was the dear companion or brother by marriage of Rocky Balboa, the more seasoned sibling of the late Adrian Penino, who turned into Balboa's significant other and the uncle of Rocky Balboa. Jr. Penino was likewise a no-nonsense, heavy drinker who had a pessimistic mentality. In the second piece of the film, Paulie visits Rocky at the medical clinic, who had a medical procedure for a disengaged retina and declared his retirement from boxing. Paulie visits the pet shop where Adrian works and hollers at her for declining to allow Rocky to proceed with his boxing profession. Meandering around alcoholism, Paulie strolls into an arcade and subsequent to seeing a pinball machine with a Rocky subject, he tosses a container of whiskey at it, crushing the machine. At that point, he is captured, what's more, imprisoned. Ruff rescues him, yet Paulie is as yet miserable, asserting that Rocky owes him. Joe Spinell or Tony Gazzo. Joe Spinell, Tony Gazzo, was an advanced shark who utilized Rocky Balboa before his boxing profession took off in the primary film. To enlarge his pay, Rocky searched out whatever work he could and grabbed the eye of Gazzo, who employed Rocky as muscle. Gazzo was depicted by Joe Spinell. Mike, or Jimmy Gambino. Mike is a minor character in the initial segment of the film Rocky, 1976. He worked with Mickey, Ruff's mentor, proprietor of Mighty Mixed Boxing. He did a great deal of work at the club. From janitor to Mickey's mentor's colleague on the ring, Mike was depicted by entertainer Jimmy Gambino. Club Fighter, or Pedro Laval. Club Fighter is a minor character in the film who shows up once in the start of the film. He battles in the ring with Rocky Balboa. Despite the fact that it was Rocky who won this battle, his adversary got his cash for losing in any case. Club Fighter was depicted by entertainer Pedro Laval. Meet Foreman, or Frank McRae. Minor character in the film Rough 2. He is a colleague Apollo ideology. Foreman shows up in the film when Apollo contends with his group about what he needs to have a rematch with Rocky. Apollo's mentor and Meet Foreman deter him from this thought. In Rocky 3, Apollo Creed provokes Rocky Balboa to rematch against Duke's desires. Duke infers that it may not be the most intelligent decision for Creed, yet Apollo actually takes the battle. Duke trains Creed for the battle, and on this event, Creed loses by KO in the 12th round. James Clubber Lang, or Mr. T. He is a fighter who contended in the heavyweight division. Lang rose to noticeable quality after challenging Rocky Balboa to a battle. Balboa acknowledged, and Lang took him out. In the rematch, Rocky would take Lang out and recapture his heavyweight title. Ivan Drago, or Dolph Lundgren. In 1985, Dolph Lundgren showed up in his breakout part as Ivan Drago in Rocky IV, the best film ever constructed about the Cold War. From that point forward, Lundgren has showed up in excess of 40 activity films, including Masters of the Universe and The Punisher. In 2010, Lundgren rejoined with Stallone for the Expendables arrangement and is set to show up in the impending The Expendables 4, Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone. He is an Italian-American heavyweight fighter, also previous two-time heavyweight champion. He is celebrated for his unyielding soul and extraordinary determination. In the initial segment of the film, Ruff is presented as a humble fighter and leg breaker, or obligation gatherer. Ruff turned into a public VIP and an around-the-world legend, taking care of business against Creed. Apollo moves Rocky to a rematch. Be that as it may, Rocky decreases and declares his retirement. Thus, Rocky Revisitations of the Ring plays out a rematch with Apollo, and in the 15th round, Rocky successes the battle by knockout. In the third part, Rocky Balboa meets in the ring with the extreme fighter James Lang. Ruff loses by knockout in the second round. Getting ready for a rematch, Rocky forms into a totally extraordinary warrior by exchanging his force game for a snappy hitting counter-assaulting style. Thunder Lips was a grappler that battled Rocky Balboa while fundraising for a noble cause. He is joined by a triplet of female models, which he calls his affection slaves. Thunder Lips was played by a proficient grappler, entertainer, unscripted TV drama star, and TV character Hulk Hogan. I wonder what a fight between Stallone and Dolph would look like today. Who do you say would win? Leave a comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications to be notified when a new video appears. Take care of yourself.